hard game for this Tiny.
I'm very proud of you.
Absolutely.
Or hard lane, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we're hopefully
a
gonna
good
see the Tiny
opportunity
start
to learn.
rotating at some point. You know, bring some action to the mid lane, maybe help out in terms of cementing that advantage that the Queen of Pain already naturally will have in this matchup. We see none of that matter for LGD, right? And in the face of a quote-unquote sort of 60-40 matchup with the Kunkka Ember, and even though he's sort of been killed by the Orchid, great itemization from Bright throughout, they still come back in. They know their timing. They know exactly what it takes to win. Right now, Red Panda might be in some trouble. Could be a similar situation to the first game where he gives over first blood. Oh, no. My God. Look, more so than this just first blood going to Shiro, which is already awful for you. The only person who would be happy about that would be Emo getting it. Level 1 Icarus dive.
30 seconds to
Yeah.
battle.
That is gonna allow New to essentially have a free first and second wave on that Doom. And once he gets there, he's that much closer to the Helm. He's that much closer to just starting to run down your Meepo with the Scorch Earth damage. This kill really feels significant.
No, absolutely, and you've got a lot of AoE on the side of LGD to deal with this Meepo, right? We've already talked about the Marcy Ags. We've got Blast Off, which is a big AoE stun. We've got Doom AoE as well, right? Whether literally the Doom AoE or the the fire. You've got Weaver, which isn't, I wouldn't call Weaver AoE, but you can like Shikuchi with the shard, and all of a sudden you're hitting all the Meepo. So like, you can make an argument that that's an AoE spell, but I wouldn't. And then you've got like the Pangolier Rolling Thunder. They have a lot of control for this Meepo. So it's got to be, I would say maybe a first item Ags for Meepo this time around, like Ags into Diffusal rather than the other way around. That's
kind of my issue though, right? Even if you go for the Ags and you turn into this Mega Meepo, a lot of the problem is usually that, okay, Meepo has just become this giant towering monster with too much HP for us to deal with. You kind of have some pretty insane single target as well, right? The Weaver does single target damage. You get the Swarm on the right Meepo. You know, you're starting to punch away the Marcy and the Doom. We can't even forget the Doom, right? So I don't think Ulu is completely safe here. I like what they've sort of done in the final phase of the draft to really answer this Meepo in whatever form he comes in, Ags or not.
We already see Red Panda. He's not the bodyguard that he wants to be right now in Ulu. He is yet to secure last hit. Okay, there we go. He got one.
Nice. Okay, they're doing it here. But yeah, just a lot of pressure. Like we mentioned, New is going to be able to essentially get a first free 2 waves as a result of this. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of expecting some action to eventually start popping off in the bot side, just because whether or not Shiro are able to run, Shiro and White Smile are able to run at their opposition, or whether Irving is able to comfortably get that level 3 and start putting the pressure on, someone's gonna die.
Yeah. Level 3 is going to be very important for this bottom lane. Both of these teams have a very impressive level 3.
Yeah.
TK with the Avalanche Toss, Viper just, you know, scaling with the poison attack.
Literally
then the
Viper,
same thing on the side of LGD, right? Like, you're dealing with Marcy with potentially all 3 of her spells. Weaver is going to be doing a lot more damage as well. It's a scary position to be in if you're Bright.
Red Panda finally hitting that level 2, so should be able to at least put on a bit more pressure, maybe stop PYW from just peppering in those auto attacks. A bunch of denies coming out the way of Neo as a result of that. 5 denies already. They're doing a great job at holding Ulu back. But it's not something a Meepo will be too sad about, right? More importantly, in the early stage for him would be the EXP that he's just getting right now still, so it's fine. Emo forced to actually TP back to base, so he has to do the long walk back to lane. A little bit rough already for this Pangolier.
Right now, Emo's going to be playing the sacrificial role. Right? You can't transition this Pango into the off lane. Right? So you just need to just take it. Right? Be like, okay, like I'm going to lose this lane. I'm going to try to recover, get my level 6, do the best I can to gank with my team.
Yeah. Has to sort of look for action, look for some rotations, but always scary business because, like we mentioned, it really is reliant on the runes. Straight onto Irving here. Are they able to outmuscle the Viper? It's going to be Why You Smile who falls first, but looks like Shiro's going to clean up another. All you need is one last little auto attack, 6 seconds. TK can't even afford to turn around and hit the bug, but finding fire. Should be able to finish this one off. Easy Shikuchi secures it with the auto attack. Actually good discipline there. I feel like most Weavers would have tried to run in, but you don't want to get caught under the tower with a stun and potentially die. So Shiro, double kill for him. Excellent start for the Weaver.
LGD already off to a better start than they were in game number 1. That being said, that's not, you know, it's only 3 minutes in. That's not too crazy, right? LGD, they left the laning stage pretty even. So the more net worth they can accumulate on Shiro the earlier on means this Weaver is able to partake in your ganks, right? If Weaver isn't forced to farm and recover the entire game and is able to partake in ganks, all of a sudden you're running around with 5 heroes. Yeah. Where Meepo, he might not necessarily be ready if he doesn't have a good enough laning stage.
Straight on into Irving yet again. This is the danger of the Viper. Very, very susceptible to just being repositioned and knocked back down out of the sky. Shiro dominating right now. And Why You Smile keeps his life intact. To chase on onto TK, it's another double. Shiro is going brazy right now as a result of the setups from the Marcy. And this is very, very scary business.
Another TP back to base for Emo. He's doing the best he can to survive in this lane, and to be fair, he's doing very well.
Yeah, I mean, 10 CS disparity, especially with how lopsided the matchup is, and he hasn't died yet, it's not too bad. You can imagine that maybe a rotation on TK would have changed things around. Speaking of rotation, in comes the Marcy, not even needed. Ulu just gets run down. Uh-oh. LGD, they're starting to run away with these lanes here. Red Panda desperately trying to hide under the fog in this tower. Might get the kill on the PYW. Final parting blood grenade will do the trick. But it still is another 2-for-1 trade in favor of LGD.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, right now Shiro's been given a good enough position where Marcy can do exactly that, right? Just leave the lane. Shiro is level 5 on this Weaver. Right, higher level than Emo right now.
Yeah, it is a tough situation for this Pangolier, but like we mentioned, his role this game is a little bit different, right? It got first picked, so, you know, all he can really do is just try and survive the lane. You know, at some point, if the Queen of Pain sort of steps up a bit too far, blinks in and dies to the physical damage, that's a lot of gold going back their way. TK waiting for that swashbuckle, but Emo, he's playing this so safe. He knows he might be under some threat. Comes the Avalanche, toss back as well, straight to Butterfly Effect. Wants to use that Sonic Wave, should be enough magic damage. And gets the kill on his counterpart. For the first time this entire qualifier, we're seeing Emo struggle a little bit.
It was a long time coming, that kill on the Pangolier. They pretty much were just waiting for the level 6 on the Queen of Pain, and now finally, you know, TK comes in with the gank. Very beautiful. Viper is like fine enough to be left alone, sure. Like, he's under his tower right now, right? So you might as well be able to, like, you might as well just leave him alone. You're tiny, but if you're not ganking, there's a big problem.
Yeah, you want to be making those moves on the map and finally connecting successfully with one. It took a bit of a wait, but the patience pays off. As Irving actually threatened a little bit. Maybe Shiro just understanding that he has a time lapse, but Shiro, ooh, right in time.
That was spicy.
Look, I get he was trying to pressure here as we see Ulu potentially going down his top side. The poof gets him out of there right in time, and Red Panda might be the one to suffer instead. They don't want to overcommit because they're unsure of whether any TPs are coming in. And as a result, they're not even going to get that kill. Red Panda able to fly out of there. Ulu waiting for the heal up Meepo. Going back to base, and yeah, I mean, everyone has to back off. So actually, they end up keeping their lives intact there. Not too bad.
I think Marcy, like, if you go back to this bottom lane, you've got the crazy kill potential still.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of I guess they feel like they've already set Shiro on a winning path, so they're not too concerned about him. And yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's really too excited to go down there and try and contest the Weaver anymore.
No, TK, he's got his full attention set on this mid lane. Yeah. Right, Emo is not quite level 6 yet, so the kill potential is still very, very high in this mid lane.
Yeah, and TK is trying to keep it that way. Sticking around for the 8-minute runes as well. Butterfly Effect should be able to secure this one up, but Shiro, he's actually run in. Avalanche up, but Shiro is going to be hot on his heels. That should be an easy kill. They lose the rune, but they finally push this Tiny out of this area, at least for now.
And that's a great kill going the way of Emo. He desperately needed a little bit of influx of gold.
Radiant's bottom tower
Finally
is
hit the
under
level
attack.
6, so should be a little bit safer now. Magic immunity doesn't prevent the Sonic Wave from still doing its insane amount of damage, so he has to watch out for that. But this is what you were talking about, Crash, right? Medusa and Miva, very, very different heroes. Shiro, he's off to a great start now, and he can
Dire's
keep making
top
these
tower
moves with
is
his
under
team.
attack.
Uh-oh, top side. Action's not over just yet. Neo trying to run away as they dive through. Nice dodge away. And the blast off as well is going to buy him just enough time to create that distance. Trying to burn away the Sunray, but Red Panda, he's the one who's getting heated up right now. Shiro chasing down again the TPs, the active moves from this Weaver. They're just paying off, giving him this early advantage, and he's now unstoppable.
And this is the thing with giving Weaver a nice and early start. He is able to partake in these ganks. He's able to be one of the heroes that is ganking. He's just going to be following this Tiny around. Because every time Tiny rears his little rocky head up, it's going to be Weaver coming in with the gank, right? This is still a zero armor hero. Very easy kill for the Weaver. He has no way of dealing with the bugs, so he just dies.
Yeah, and he's not neglecting any farm as well. 5,700 net worth, and he's 6-0 right now on this Weaver. Crazy stuff, and Ulu starting to set up vision around the area. He needs to watch where he farms. If he leaves a stray Meepo out and about, the blast off into a Doom could be an easy kill. Neo has that ready. Looks like it's set up in the mid lane though. Smoke out from Team Bright. Want to keep the hurt onto Emo, but like we mentioned, Ulu gonna suffer as a result of that. The roll up, interrupted, perfectly executed. So they trade out 1 for 1 on the cause. Ulu for Emo.
Yeah, Emo is struggling and suffering. PYW currently has more net worth than the mid-Pangolier. But this isn't, to be fair, this is kind of what we expected going into this mid lane, right? The Pango versus Quap is a very hard lane to play against.
Yeah.
And you pair that up with the ganks from the Tiny as well, it's near impossible.
Yeah, I mean TK essentially was camp. This is the type of campaign from an enemy Tiny that you just kind of all chat like why you need to call your friend in a solo queue match.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emo just plays it a little safe here. No Sonic Wave, but still kind of worried about the threat of more heroes coming in to deal with him. Use the tail end of that Rolling Thunder, just get some nice farm, and he's still working through that standard build of the Diffusal Blade, right? Once he gets that, it's going to be much more perfected in some of these ganks, perhaps. Speaking of ganks, straight up onto Ulu, trying to fish that Meepo away, will be successful in doing so. They outrun the Weaver for now.
And once again, Shiro, he's the hero to be making these ganks, right? If Emo can't, if Emo is on full recovery mode, it's up to Shiro.
Yeah, I mean, Shiro, he's the one sort of elected to occupy the space up here in this top side and consistently pressure the Meepo out. The 2-level disparity is kind of insane when you consider how fast a Meepo is able to garner EXP, but that's just how great of a game Shiro's been having. Looks like he's queuing up a Desolator as well.
Yeah, crazy amount of damage coming out very soon from this Weaver. And TK, even when he gets that level in to grow and gets some armor under his belt with that Desolator, he is going to be in some big trouble.
Look for why you smile. Shiro is here again, ready to fight. The Sonic Wave will clip them both, but while you smile, trying to jump away, won't be successful in doing so. They already get the kill into TK. There's the Viper Strike onto the Weaver, but he just wants to chase down Butterfly Effect. Feeling very strong right now, forcing the TP out. There's nothing else that can stop him, no! The last auto attack gets the kill, and that is a huge chunk of change. Shiro, he's doing everything for LGD right now.
Yeah, you know, last game on the Medusa, we questioned if Shiro could 1v5. Well, he's doing exactly that right now.
Oh, it feels that way, yeah. He needs a lot more time. Almost feels like Shiro's doing 2 jobs into 1 right now, and it really isn't Emo's fault, don't get me wrong, but like, actually this is an impressive Weaver performance to say the least, utilizing the last pick to the fullest.
Look how much net worth this Weaver has, man. 8k net worth 12 minutes in. The
And
net
he
worth
didn't buy any
disparity
farming
is
items.
almost all on Weaver.
Yeah, maybe you would expect this if he gets like, what, a 10-11 minute Maelstrom? He's just statted up, right? Falcon Blade, Dragon Lance, he's going aggressive, fighting stat items that are going to keep him alive in these engagements if they're just paid off.
Okay, we do have the Diffusal Blade onto Ulu, so maybe Meepo can start making moves a little bit now as well, but I mean, we talked about how much Pango is suffering. Look at Meepo's net worth as well. There's not too much difference between this Pangolier and this Meepo.
Yeah, you look further down that chart, that's where Irving is, and this was the Viper that you picked in an attempt to basically lock out some potential carry selections from LGD. And not only is your opposing carry just absolutely dominating the game right now, you're kind of left without anything to do. Viper wants to occupy that lane and put on pressure, but where do you go? Where do you go?
Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't
You're
know,
slow,
Viper's not a ganking hero.
Yeah, you can't really tag team up with your... You want, ideally, your Tiny to run here with you in the bot side and set up for you while you stand there and you're able to do damage. You can't really stand there against Shiro right now, who is going to have what looks like a 15-minute Desolator.
On top of, like, Falcon Blade Dragonlance. It's not even like a Deso Rush either.
This is crazy.
This is absolutely disgusting.
I don't know how they're going to deal with Shiro. I mean, they've shown already that they do have the burst potential. They have the lockdown with the nets as well, but Ulu just hasn't been involved so far. And Shiro, he's beating him to the punch in terms of tempo. Try and get into smoke, Team Bright. Bringing Irving along this time, hoping that the damage will be enough. But, I mean, take a look at where they're going. Who are they looking for?
The Meepo. They're ganking their own Meepo.
Surprise!
That's the only thing I can think. Yeah,
Happy
right.
birthday!
Hi, Ulu.
Hi, Ulu. Nice diffusal, bro. I mean, they've brought everyone up to this top side, but LGD, whether or not they've read it perfectly or it's just intuition, just gone to the opposing side of the map completely. And yeah, there's nothing to be found. Like, what even... Meanwhile, mid lane set up. Red Panda needs to be so careful. They're all smoked up, just waiting for him right now. Back away though. Hero will be revealed under that sentry, and that should give the Phoenix advance notice to get out there. But yeah, Desolator timing. Weaver wants to find some more kills. He is just on.
I love what PYW's done here. He's gone for the mechanism on the techies. Right, just recognizing that now is the time to partake in these fights. Now is the time to go, go, go.
Yeah, I mean, that entire mech is going to negate the damage coming out from the Sonic Wave, and crucially, Shiro, he just needs to stay alive. That's why he can't afford to be burst down. He can burst down. There goes the Phoenix. Immediate buyback. They understand they need to hold the fort right now, but they can't even kill the Marcy. They roll up, and in the face of that buyback, Red Panda's going to try and dive forward. He needs to be careful. One bump could end his whole life here. Gets at least the urn onto Why You Smile. Might just tick out. No. Barely survives. Bit of the lifesteal, as well as the Royal Jelly coming into play there. And Shiro just casually gets a kill onto Ulu. I mean, that must have been the Meepo trying to chase someone down, but right now it's TK who's falling as well. PYW with the setup. It's a nice toss avalanche, but can't work through the HP. The mech coming into play here. Everything lining up perfectly the way LGD want.
Now 6 Deso charges for this Weaver already. It's only been 2 minutes since he got the Deso.
Yeah. I mean, just yesterday we saw Mars get a Deso at like what? Oh, sorry, a Dawnbreaker get a Deso and proceed not to get a charge for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. Very different story here for Shiro. 9k gold lead at this early juncture in the game. It is terrifying, and we haven't even talked about New this entire time, right? The Doom scaling up in his own way already. I mean, he's decided to forgo the Veil and the Shivas entirely and just Midas and BKB.
Right now your Weaver is just so far ahead that you need to prioritize fighting.
Yeah.
Right? Veil will be nice to fight with, but Techies is already amplifying your magic damage. And when you take a look at the draft from LGD, where's the rest of their magic damage outside of Doom and Techies? Right? Weaver is overwhelming physical damage. Pangolier is physical damage. Marcy is physical damage. Like, the Veil doesn't do too much for you this game other than amplify yourself.
Yeah.
And right now, the name of the game is just standing and fighting.
They're standing and fighting Roche right now, but Red Panda around the area starting to play a bit of interference. They need to watch out. The Roche is very low. Could get swept up. They aren't careful, starting the Pangolier roll up now. Both teams just maintaining vision on this area. This could decide everything. Starting out the PYW, forcing the blast off away. And suddenly, they need to disengage. They've lost out on one of their key members. PYW doesn't end up dying, but Emo is gonna be forced to roll in. They're feeling a bit of this pressure now. If Bright are able to buy and wait out this time, suddenly a few of the key team fight tools from LGD have been used. Yeah, and they recognize it as well. They can't contest for this Roche anymore. Very good discipline from Bright, and they'll be the ones to claim this Aegis on the Meepo instead.
I'm gonna be honest, Sneeze. I'm not too sure this Aegis really matters. Sure, the golden flux is nice for Team Bright, but I feel like they're still just gonna kill Meepo not once but twice.
Yeah, I mean, the main issue for them so far is that LGD, I guess that kind of leads into the conversation about the build as well. They don't really have any problems with killing their opposition. They just need to make sure to stay alive, which is why we're seeing a bit more defensive itemization. I think that Aegis would have helped a lot in terms of letting LGD feel a bit more confident about making these extended moves, but I'm gonna stop them from getting pickoffs on the map still though. While you smile with the stun, easy pickings onto Irving, another kill for Shiro. He is godlike, beyond sorry.
Okay, we've got the Aghanim Scepter on the side of Ulu now as well. So Shiro, he's still working on that BKB, and that's gonna be nasty timing on the BKB. Right, we get like a sub 20-minute BKB on both of these cores from LGD, and they're just gonna run at you.
Yeah. Well, so it does come down to one factor. This Aghanim's Mega Meepo, right? He has a second life as well. So suddenly you're not just killing him once, but having to kill the Mega Meepo once and a second life. DK, unfortunately, doesn't have those HP privileges. Will just go down here. Spyback available, Ulu looking ready to fight. Starting to go on the Weaver, forcing the time lapse out. But found him again with a pre-placed sentry. Trying to come forward now, silencing up the Weaver. They're actually doing a considerable amount of damage. He's already used the time lapse. Can he get out of here? The net, it's not gonna connect. And Shiro's able to wiggle his way out. That was close. I mean, if they killed Shiro there, on Ulu especially, this LGD Empire can all come crumbling down.
But the problem is now, you've got the Orchid, but Shiro's already finished a BKB.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Orchid don't matter.
That felt like your one opportunity to get that kill, and it's just right about there, right as BKB gets delivered, slipped away. They had a perfect setup, they had a pre-placed sentry, everything was nice. But yeah, I mean, in the meanwhile, Emo, he has managed to slowly but surely start to climb back up the net worth chart as well. Looking at what seems to be a manta for himself, just to dispel some of the silences coming through.
Yeah, same thing, right? It's not like you're going to build a BKB on Pangolier, but you've got to deal with this Orchid. You've got to deal with these Fire Spirits as well. The net, right? Just by Manta style, very easy. When you take a look at the stuns on Team Bright, what is it? Avalanche, and that's it?
Yeah,
Radiant's middle
it's got an issue. I mean, they have some pretty decent control in terms of nets, but you kind of need to, land it.
Yeah.
Ulu come forward. Let's finally clean up this tier 1 tower though. The network advantage still very much in the way of LGD, but as much as I think we both agree that this Aegis, it's not really going to stop LGD from doing what they want. It kind of has, it almost feels like hampered their confidence for this immediate period of time. They kind of resign themselves to, okay, we're going to play chill. We're just going to wait this one out, and who knows, maybe that's just enough time for Team Bright to get back on board.
Yeah, the script has been flipped a little bit, right? It's now LGD's time. There's no reason to push the envelope against an Aegis, right? You're so far ahead, you can't afford to lose one too many. Like, what you can't afford to lose one fight when there's so much bounty on your Weaver, right? That's probably going to be 1,000 gold to whoever kills Shiro this game.
Ooh, this is kind of nutty though. The fact that Tormentor actually granted the shard to the techies, he's now able to put his reactive taser on someone like the Shiro Weaver instead. And if all the meeples are hitting him, they're gonna not only be taking a lot of damage, but all not be able to put out any auto attacks. That is a big hamper to what Ulu wants to get done.
Yeah, absolutely. He hasn't gone for the dig quite yet, which I think is going to be a big thing for Meepo coming later on, but the Disperser right now is the key item for Ulu.
Yeah, for sure. He needs to get moving and truck in and just dispel all those shenanigans that LGD want to put on him. It's not a lot slower or just kind of hampering, it's just a lot of annoying little small effects.
Yeah, it's not like you can purge Doom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can still use items in Doom, though, right? So, like, you can disperse yourself and just run away from it.
Yeah, the age-old sort of search/stampede answer to Doom, just literally hightail out of there. You can't heal, but if they can't continue doing damage to you, you should be fine, especially if your HP pool. Butterfly Effect, his game has definitely plateaued a little bit, it feels like, with this Orchid pickup. Haven't really been able to get much done. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Butterfly Effect. I mean, the amount of work he's going to be able to do in these fights
Radiant's
is
top tower
still
is
going to be
under attack.
significant, but it feels like Bright, they need to make sure that they're connecting on the same targets here and the game plan is clear. Because right now it feels like it's a bit all over the place.
And look at this. As soon as Aegis expires, LGD putting pressure on a tier 2 tower.
Radiant's top
Yeah,
tower
watch out for the
has
stray
fallen.
nets though. Why you smile? Standing very close by. A bit of meepos, some to push top side, some to push,
Dire's
some to
bottom
answer in the
tower
mid
is
lane.
under attack.
LGD.
Like look at the part of the map that LGD is playing in, right? Like this is such a safe area for them right now, right? Bright, they aren't in a position where they can just run in to the enemy jungle. They're not far enough ahead. They don't have the ward vision. They have one ward in this jungle, and that's about it. And that's the one we see right there on the screen, and the one on the triangle as well. But you're not running into this main jungle. This is the safest spot for LGD to be farming in their own jungle, and that's great. But if you're safe in your own jungle, that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Peak Dota experience right here. Farming your own
Yeah.
jungle, a privilege only enjoyed by the winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shiro though.
Once again, how many times have twice now we've seen Team Bright gank this top lane area where no one in LGD were there.
It feels funny because with the care and precaution that both these teams are playing at, you wouldn't have guessed this game has only gone on for 24 minutes. But it's LGD have gathered such a large advantage early on that, like what you correctly mentioned, they can't really afford to give it away. If they die one time on Shiro, it's a lot of gold and instantly Bright are going to be more on the front foot, but they're just playing so conservatively. You watch out for potential team coming out. Looks like Neil wants to bait something out. He's actually doing so much damage. Forced to pull in the Mega Meepo. Nicely done by Ulu to get out of that situation. Now chase down. EYW tossed back into spray. No way of getting out of that one. That's a reactive taser coming into play though, but still not enough healing from those Guardian Greaves alone to really survive that. Rest of the side of LGD
Rest of the
though.
team.
Yeah,
Dire's
here they
middle
come.
tower is under attack.
Bright's got to leave. They've got to get out of there.
Yeah,
Shiro, Emo is now even a threat. But Shiro, the big threat as well as the threat of Doom. You've got a lot of things to worry about right now on Bright. You'll gladly take that solo kill.
Yeah.
But you can't stick around here, and we already see, right, everyone has left. Irving is not there. The only one sticking around really is Red Panda.
Yeah, Red Panda, even if he dies here, it's not too big of a deal. He's
Radiant's
just here to try and clear
courier
whatever
has
creep
been
wave or soak whatever EXP he can. TK did reveal his position by killing Shiro's courier. We'll see whether Shiro allows for that to go unpunished. Running forward onto TK. Nice dodge on the bugs though. Avalanche stopping him in the tracks, but TK still will get caught by that Marcy. The distance covered is just too wide between Shikuchi and the rebound. Yeah, 13 and 0 on this Weaver. Come on, 12 Deso charges already?
Radiant's
This is
bottom tower
insane
is
stuff.
under
It's
attack.
new. Spotted out on this top side, and now they're looking for the commitment. Team Bright, they're bringing the numbers. They just don't have the extended control. They're going to continue to net him out, force that BKB out. He's going to turn around the Doom actually and try and TP out. I don't think he has enough HP for this, just barely. And uh-oh, Shiro's here, ready to punish Ulu, jumping forward. They're looking for the main Meepo. They won't find him with the bugs though. But in the tree line, the swoop forward Glimmer, it's not enough. He's still gonna go down. The last auto attacks from Shiro. It was a good try from the Phoenix with the Icarus dive and the Glimmer Cape, but Red Panda might have just paid with his life as well. Emo with the chase down, one last auto attack is all it takes. The Swash will finish the deal. And in what looked like a pretty decent move for them in this top side, Neo manages to bait them out just enough for Shiro to come clean up.
Dire's top
What a great
tower is
turnaround,
under
right?
attack.
Talk about trust in your team,
Dire's
right?
structures
LGD is
are
like, oh, okay, we're coming. Just turn around and doom him, and that's exactly what New does.
Yeah.
Right? That's all you need to do. BKB TP, you've got your doom out. You might as well leave.
Yeah, I think the awkward thing for that is Team Bright, they kind of felt half committed to that initial Doom kill as well, right? They didn't bring Butterfly Effect. Irving was kind of around, not exactly. So, you know, as soon as that doesn't go the way that you want, I mean, committing additionally for it feels like essentially sentencing the Meepo to his death, and
Dire's
that's
top
exactly
tower
what happened.
is under attack.
Still keeping up in terms of net worth, at least to the Doom these two calls are. They aren't so drastically behind that the game is out of their reach, but Shiro just feels like such a huge problem.
All it takes is 1 or 2 kills on this Weaver, but that's a hard ask with your team. Right, like we've talked about, they are very limited by their stuns. Sure, they have nets, but that's about it. Avalanche is not the reliable stun that you want it to be.
Yeah. Straight in. Onto Ulu now, but able to just disperse him and go Meepo his way out of there. No Doom, no problem. He can always just get those off. Now,
Radiant's
the
bottom
one
tower
thing I do
is
want to
under
point out
attack.
that we haven't talked about in a while is this Viper, right? Irving has been a complete non-factor in the game, and I think I'm struggling to see a point where he comes back because he needs so much farm and he's still kind of building a preliminary Shivas. He's not going into that auto attack BKB build. I don't really see how this Viper can contribute, especially if they're taking the Aegis at this juncture. They had a bomb placed down just to spot it out. And Shiro with this Aegis, it's going to be a big problem.
I think this is the big problem with the Viper. He's such a feast or famine hero.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, mostly all he's doing is famine this game.
You essentially blind pick the Viper into saying like, okay, we banned out some potential answers, but LGD, what are you going to do to deal with the Viper? And they just picked like the best potential combo with the Marcy, right? Like,
Yep.
I'm not very sure whether this kind of went over Team Bright's head a little bit here, but honestly, I didn't mind their draft too much. It looked like it had some pretty decent components, but it feels like once again, Team Bright, they haven't been able to capitalize on some of the strengths. For example, Butterfly Effect with that early advantage. Yet to really see the Queen of Pain put in any meaningful work in these team fights, but it's so hard. TK able to blink his way out of there. PYW guessing a bit wrongly. Didn't expect the double back, but Neil onto the backline, onto Ulu. Found the Meepo. Where's the backup? Toss him back, and he needs to dip out of here, but already the Swash, already the roll in and sentencing him to death. 65 seconds without your Meepo, and Irving can do nothing but watch. Retreat as their carries just killed from right between their tier 2 and tier 3. Straight onto the tier 2 they go.
I don't want to keep harping on Irving just because he's already had a hard enough game, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to bring him down anymore. But from a draft perspective on Bright, Irving is your playmaker. Irving is the hero that gets things done.
Yeah.
And Viper is just not that hero, right? We've talked about Irving, Magnus, Mars, these heroes, that stuff done. Viper, not that hero. Viper is a sit there and attack kind of hero.
Yeah, Viper is a sit there and threaten you to come kill me and my team will respond hero, but when killing you takes about 4 seconds, there isn't even room for a response. The 8 can't even pop in that time. Looking for a setup now,
We haven't
though.
even seen an egg.
I mean, hopefully it'll be now that the 8 comes out. They're trying to set up on the Shiro, but this is a man with an Aegis and a man with a plan. Running forward onto Irving here, has to eat the Viper Strike in the face. Gonna hamper some of his aggressive potential for now. Starting to chase down onto Why You Smile. The poor Marcy just gonna get Sonic Wave down. The lingering poison damage, it's enough. Butterfly Effect at least cleans up one. But once again, that's all they find. Shiro able to dipski do his way out of there. And nobody else in LGD is even remotely threatened. Sure, maybe PYW, can he grease himself out of this? No. Sticks around for a bit too long and gets caught out by Butterfly Effect. Good little upswing, double kill for him now. Maybe he heard us. But this is kind of what you need to do. You need to make sure that they aren't allowed to make these individual small pockets of moves on the map.
Yeah, and I feel like this has been the, I don't want to say problem, but this has been the, this has been the problem for the past, even like last game, the last 20 minutes of last game for Team Bright. The only person they're really finding are these supports. Why You Smile, the big one, who's just feeding his life away time after time. But the position, like you talked about last game, the position in which you're feeding yourself away, you're on the enemy side of the map, which means it's not going to transition into a tier 2 tower. It's not going to transition into anything on your side of the map.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing, right? At most, they've sort of bought a bit of time for them to farm their own triangle, and that's about it. Roche, I mean, it's not even a factor now because you're still facing down the Aegis, so you can't really threaten Shiro. Now, I guess it's happening now as I speak, but Emo and New, they've largely sort of been playing on the offshoots by themselves, not with this initial hunting party. I think, you know, especially now with the Doom, they might just be looking for somebody else here.
Radiant are
Tucked away in the bot side, just trying to cut creeps, but... And disperse it. Oh, that's a cute move, dispersing the creep wave just to move it up faster and get them more info. But yeah, right now they're just being cut by the annoying Queen of Pain and the Tiny just taking turns to be out of it. Immediately
Nice move by TK.
Kinda gotta make those, but wasn't able to clear the full one, so the push will be coming. They're able to snap up the Tormentor on Team Bright's side as well, so that is a shard going the way of Why You Smile. Pretty handy stuff because you're usually limited to rebounding only off your allies. Being able to rebound off your foes as well just allows you to get around the fight so easily.
Yeah. Yeah, it decreases the cooldown as well, which goes a long way when that is the stun nowadays on Marcy.
Yeah, Marcy, the volleyball player, just jumping up and spiking you down. Let's see what goes on here. Doesn't seem like LGD, even with this Aegis, feel fully confident to commit here, especially if New still messing around up here in this top side. Yeah, it's an interesting
You say
look.
that.
I mean, Shiro's committing, but it almost feels like they are bluffing a little bit here, right? Because in reality, Emo and Emo and New are nowhere nearby.
No, they have no intention, right? New has no intention of joining this fight. All that was for LGD, we're trying to force Team Bright back and force them back to their side of the map. And the best case scenario there is you get the T3 tower.
Caught out this poor Nico again. The roll up, managing to mega up. And Red Panda actually standing his ground. It's a nice Sonic Wave and the Sun Ray to hold them back. The egg is committed, but so is Shiro's BKB. He'll just punch that down the Doom onto the main Nico as well. Emo, he's just controlling them up non-stop. It's a perfect Rolling Thunder. And you silence him. He's just gonna split up into his little Mantis. Irving, what can you even do in this game? The answer is nothing. As LGD will just rip your whole team apart, kill your Meepo. And all you can do is watch. Straight onto the racks this time. The ping comes through Shiro. He's ready to put an end to this Shiro series. And GG's called. Right.
Yeah.
They're down to the lower bracket. LGD move on.
I mean, dude, the itemization coming out from Emo at the end of that game with the Gleipnir, absolutely incredible.
Oh, beautiful.
I saw him queuing up the Maelstrom. I was like, oh, I wonder what he's going to go for here.